All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with another video. This one is going to be UFC boxing based. I cannot say that enough. UFC boxing based because you are food to the filthy casual and hardcore show. And as always, I'm with my co-host Ola. Say hello to the people, Ola.
Yeah, what's happening, people? It's been a minute. We're supposed to drop the Max Holloway and Ortega thing, but we didn't really get to do a review on that one. But yeah, we're here to talk the Jones, Gustafsson, Chisora, Dylan Whyte / AJ shenanigans.
AJ, also Fury and Wilder, because people still want us to touch on that. So let's start with a big story that broke overnight, and that was regarding Jon Jones. Ariel Helwani broke that Jon Jones had tested effectively positive based on the amount of steroids that was in his system from the first time. So last year, for those who don't know, he was triggered for steroids in 2017, was given a 15-month suspended ban, which meant that in this weekend coming up, he would be effectively cleared to fight Alexander Gustafsson. I can never pronounce his name.
Gustafsson.
Yeah. And a big anticipated fight because Jon Jones, who, forget that one on his record, he's basically never been beaten before. So this is like a big deal because Alexander Gustafsson was the man that came the closest to beating him. In fact, many people thought he won that fight, me included, to be honest.
Yeah.
And this was a big deal, a highly anticipated fight. And for Jones to be triggered again for effectively cheating. And all right, people will say, yeah, but it's from the first time. There is so much I want to say, but I'm going to let my co-host Ola run away with this. He's the expert. It's the UFC thing. Let him go.
I mean, look, it's one thing saying it's from before, and we know the powers that be. We in the UFC organization, and especially with Dana, and how much he loves Jones, because he's giving Jones chance after chance after chance after chance, chances that nobody else in the entire UFC, and I include Conor in this, no one else.
Is your microphone banging against your jacket?
Hold on.
Yeah, whatever you did helped.
Right. Is it better now?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. So I mean, no one else in the entire UFC is being afforded the amount of chances that that Jon Jones is being afforded. And in my opinion, they're saying it's from the steroids from before. I don't care whether it's from before. It's for you to get yourselves clean leading to this fight. They're saying trace amount from the test from before. How long was he out for? You're out for nearly 2 years or 2 years plus, and you still got the same trace of steroids in your system. I don't get it. I for one think it's failed again, and they trying to sell us a story that's convenient, a story that they'll say, put that out there, everybody will lap it up. Jon Jones has got fucked up PR anyways. So this is like he needs to go and employ all those people to come and work for him. And maybe they might clean up his image a little bit, In my opinion, I think the fact that Nevada is not having none of it and saying, listen, this shit ain't going on down here. Yeah? And if Nevada ain't having none of it, then there's more to it than what they're telling us.
Now, let me kind of interject with this for people who are wondering why California, where I can't believe they're moving the entire card.
The entire card.
Less than a week away. They're moving the entire card to California because of one individual.
And it's not just it's not just California like that. It's in Inglewood. Now, people that know Inglewood out there in the state, they're so relaxed about drugs.
That's the thing. I was just about to say, California as a whole, they're very, shall we say, relaxed when it comes to that drug rule. You know, especially weed. Weed is legal over there.
Everything's legal. You see the likes of Nate Diaz and all of them smoking. They're smoking all day, every day.
So, they are. You know? They're very. They're cool with when it comes to this. Steroids are their big thing over there.
It's nothing. It's nothing to them, and I think that's why they're moving the card. But the thing that actually that bothers me about this whole situation is how they're doing it just for the one guy. That's one. Number two, they're not thinking about the fans that's booked this card from 3-4 months ago, plan their trip, plan their hotels, you know, how long they're going to stay there. And now they got to replan and remap everything from Vegas all the way to California without UFC reimbursing them in any way, shape, or form, because they haven't put out any kind of statement saying how they're going to reimburse. Remember when the Arsenal game got moved from Volskla to Kiev? Straight away, the club said, we will reimburse any out-of-pocket expenses due to this inconvenience. UFC ain't even come out to say none of that, you know? And it's just a black mark on. I found myself ranting to Chig this morning. It was a long line of rant, and to me, it makes a mockery of the guys that put the effort in, people that work so hard to make this sport what it is today. People like Tony Ferguson, Max Holloway. Max Holloway, he nearly died from the last weight cut that he had when he was supposed to step up and fight Khabib. The doctors had to pull him out of that. You know, he could have said, you know what, just to get ready for this Ortega fight, you know, let me go and pop a few steroids. Let me go and... It could have been easy for him to do that. Tony Ferguson injured mash up his whole knee, ruptured the whole thing. It took him 6 months. It could have been easy for him to say, you know what, I'm going to jump on steroids to try and make my rehabilitation quicker. You know what I mean? And give me more strength. They're not making a plain level field. And the likes of DC, the likes of Khabib, even Conor, for everything that you hate about Conor, he comes into the octagon clean. Which whatever you think of him, he will show up and he comes into the octagon clean. So, you know, for people like Brock and Jon Jones, you know, just killing off the sport with this drugs. And that's why people like Mark Hunt has been campaigning about people. And he said, bro, you're mute.
Oh, sorry. Did you see Mark Hunt's tweet today?
Mark Hunt he's been on their neck. He's been on their neck. I haven't seen his tweet, but he's been on their neck. And Mark Hunt has always said it. If I fight you and you on steroids, I'm gonna sue you. That's how deep Mark Hunt is going about steroid situation. He don't like it at all. DC is a big campaigner about it in his whole entire wrestling career, and I'm talking from the days when he was in the Olympics, before he even joined before he started doing MMA. He's never failed a test. Never, not once. Why is it always Jon Jones? And everybody want to give him the latitude. Oh, he's just oh, he's misunderstood. Oh, he's just a guy that people just make excuses for him. And if you carry on making excuses for him, he ain't never gonna change, because he's always gonna think, you know what? I got everybody. I got everybody where I want them. They're still gonna buy my fight. They're still gonna watch me fight. And this is where we are with Jon Jones. To me personally, I don't want to hear anyone ever use his name alongside with the word great ever again, because to me, it's not in that category.
Well, that's what I
It's
titled
out of
the
that
video.
conversation. I'm sorry.
I titled the video, is he just misunderstood or is he just plain old a cheat? Well, what is your straight up flat out?
He's a cheat. He's a cheat because, you know, people like Stipe, what they're supposed to do? You know, this guy is come out of suspension for doping to get in front of Stipe that works week in, week out, to try and get, you know what I mean? Because they're talking about Jon Jones to get the heavyweight title fight with DC in front of Stipe. Before Stipe is even getting a mention about it because it's a money fight. Do you know how it's infuriating? It's infuriating. It makes my blood boil, and I just hope for me the earlier Dana comes away from UFC, the better for me, because in my eyes he's ruining the sport, man. It really is. It's all about the money, and it shouldn't always be about the money. It should be about the realness and the true image of what the sport is supposed to be. And it's gone in a whole different direction right now, and I'm not happy with it. Not at all. Not where it's going.
Yeah, to me, and this is where I find Kenny Florian, who...
Oh, yeah. You two had the back and forth, innit?
Bruv, this guy. So I responded to him, yeah. I didn't even know he was going to do it. So I responded to him because he was bitching and moaning about Fury Wilder and the decision, right? Now, don't get it twisted. Boxing, we came on ourselves on that night and said that this is why boxing has such a bad rap because shit like this. Even I said that, right? Here's where I take exception with Kenny Florian now. Because he came out and was like, oh, well, this is why I hate boxing. This is why I stick with MMA. And I'm sat there like, okay, so bullshit like this never happens in MMA, no? It never happens. There is never any controversy, politics in MMA.
It happens all the time.
Are you being serious? Right? So he was like, I said to him, I could name instances, if you like, of times where controversial things happen during high-profile matches, right? So he decided to quote tweet my tweet and then made a big song and dance of it. And then obviously all of his dick riders came on and then started to pile on. So I thought, you know what? Let me mute this before it gets out of control. So I muted it because I didn't want to argue with everyone else. I wanted to debate him.
Yeah. But you know he's got millions of minions.
Yeah,
so his minions are gonna jump out and they're gonna ride for him anyways, man. But you know, I see where you're going. I see what you were saying, and I understood it because I mean we do reviews and shows, side shows on boxing and MMA, and they both in a way work hand in hand. And when Conor came and done that with done a dance with Floyd, you know, MMA and boxing they came together. They got together even closer than ever before, and you know it was a spectacle for the whole world to see. But they both have their black marks, and it was never really this apparent with MMA, especially before USADA showed up, because everybody was just freelancing.
Everyone was juicing.
Everybody was juicing. You know what I mean? They were just freelancing it, freestyling it. You know what I mean? Let's see what works. I mean, Victor Belfort comes to mind when we're talking about people that get that juice themselves all the way up. So you know, but USADA came in and started cleaning up the place, cleaning up the house, and you know, I like the fact that USADA has kind of come out and try to make, you know, plain level field for everybody.
But here's the thing: have they? Because this is my.
I think they're doing what they can. Otherwise, we wouldn't know about Jones today.
Yeah, but how is this motherfucker still allowed to fight, regardless of whatever?
It has to go and get licensing. It has to get a license in Cali. They're not giving him no license. He can't get a license anywhere else. It has to go to California to get a license to do this fight. It's not been. And you know the other angle that I'm thinking, and nobody has actually said this yet. I haven't seen it anywhere on Twitter. And this is my other angle. When Jones got told by USADA that, all right, you know what, we're going to give you 4 months to come back in, but on one condition, yeah? You got to give us names. You got to snitch on some people, goddamn it. Has anybody actually thought maybe Jones is given something, and that's why they've given us this story about something that the thing he had in the system is what he had there 2 years ago and not something recently. Because I think there's some kind of cover-up going on here.
I ain't gonna lie, and this is what I'm trying to say. This is my overall point, and this is why I think when Kenny says some shit like, "Oh, UFC are this beacon of light," no, they're not. No, they're not. This to me smells of Jones has snitched on somebody and has become untouchable because that's it.
I wouldn't be surprised if he start wrapping up some people.
Where all this cover up is. Trust me, you'll start seeing it over the course of next year. Suddenly, people who you never thought were juicing are suddenly going to start getting. They're going to start getting swiped up. They're going to start getting caught, and you're going to know where that name's come from. Jones has been snitching, of course.
I think Jones has been snitching as well.
He looks like the type that would do anything.
Jones don't give a fuck. It's all about him, innit? You know
100%.
Jones is about Jones and what's good for Jones. That's it. You know, he's so selfish that he's prepared to self-destruct.
100%. As soon as I heard that story,
without caring about nobody else.
You don't snitch on somebody. You definitely don't snitch on somebody. 100%. 100%. Sorry. In my opinion, let me add before the show gets taken off there. In my opinion,
Jones be snitching. I'm saying it. If they want smoke, they can come and get me, man. Jones be snitching, man. Look, I'm looking at all these angles, and I've been sat there the whole of the day. Look, I was so vexed about this whole situation, and I thought to myself, I mean, someone like Gustafsson come from Sweden. These guys are they treat this sport in a honorable way. Fighting to them is a honorable thing. I mean, if you watch the Vikings and see how they go on, you know, it's a honorable thing for them. It's the same way the Irish people take fighting. It's a honorable thing, you know what I mean? And they're just smearing it with all these drug bollocks, and it just pisses me out. You know, if the fight goes on right now, if Jones goes to win that fight against Gustafsson, what credibility does he have? It has zero credibility. That it hasn't been because they're saying.
Conversely, how much does a beast does Alexander Gustafsson look if he beats a juiced up Jon Jones?
It'd be mad. It'd be crazy.
He'd be, regardless of how much steroids is in his system. He will look like a fucking beast if he beat a juiced up.
I hope he does. I really want him to win, but one way or the other, I don't think it'll happen. I think the powers that be, they will sway the cards. Look, they have ways of swinging this, and we've seen it over and over again. And it's something that I never thought would happen in MMA, but they've been doing it lately, where they're just swinging the scorecards, and unless somebody knocks somebody out, that's the cleanest way of doing it. Other than that, you know, people are. It's like, look at that Kevin Lee a la Quinta fight. You know, Kevin Lee thought he won that fight, and I thought he did enough to win it. But at the same time, it's who they want to push forward. And it's just.
Do you think he did enough? I must admit, I thought he lost the fight as well.
Nah,
I'll be honest. Yeah, he had a couple of takedowns, but he didn't do shit.
I thought he did. I thought he did enough, especially in the first, second, and the last round. In the fifth round, I thought he did enough. But like the thing is, takedowns. It don't matter how much you outstrike someone standing. If you get a takedown and hold him there for a minute, it overrides all the strikes. that you've done in that round. And that's how MMA has been. I mean, Joe Rogan has been campaigning about how they need to change this whole thing. That how can so many strikes, how can a takedown outweigh so many strikes? You know,
8, 9
standing up.
strikes. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, especially if you're accurate and you getting them strikes and you're getting them strikes. Yeah, the man's eating it up, but you're doing damage and you're jabbing. Someone like GSP that loves to jab somebody's face off, just jab the hell out of the man's face. He's one of the best jabbers that I know. GSP. I mean, this guy is ridiculous. NPR. When he's jabbing the man's face, the face don't ever look the same by the time he's done with them. You know, he's so accurate. But then somebody takes him down, and all of a sudden that overrides everything he's done. And I think that's one thing that, you know, people like Joe Rogan that commentate on a regular basis has been campaigning for UFC to look at in terms of scoring the fight. So, I mean, I hope Gustafsson win. I really want him to. I really want him to win. After I personally, I don't have any time for Jon Jones anymore. I'm done with him.
I used to be such a fan of Jones.
I'm done. I'm so done with him.
It slowly ate away at me. You know, just the way he conducts himself, running that pregnant woman over and then running away.
Running away. Oh, he's done so much madness. Like so much shit.
And then you come back, you think to yourself, all right, maybe he's redeemed himself. And you know, and I was prepared in my mind last year. I was like, when he fought DC, I was like, all right, fuck it. Let me see if I can try and get behind him again. And you know, maybe he's just young and stupid. You know, he's older now. Maybe he's learned his lesson, and then he gets popped again. I'm like, I'm done with this motherfucker.
And I'm glad. I'm glad that fight with DC got put down as a no contest.
Yeah.
Rather than a win for him, because obviously DC grasped him up and said, "Listen, the way this guy was hitting me, and I never felt anyone hit me. He's on something. Go do a test right now." This is snitched on him. You know what I mean?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. You know, I said, I ain't never been hit by anyone the way this guy's just hit me. He hit him so hard, the man was crying, brethren. You know? I ain't never. He said the man hit me so hard. I ain't never been hit by no one like that ever in my life. Please go and test him before he leaves the building. Test that guy. You know what I mean? So, you know, we know what Jones is about now. It's not going to change. Leopard does change the spot, and it's always going to be a cheat in my eyes. Him talking about being in the greatest of all time, I never want to hear his name in that conversation ever again.
But here's the thing, though, and UFC have done this all year. It's been a theme of UFC all year, where they'll use this to promote it. They use the Conor. They used the end of the fight against Conor and Khabib to promote the shit out of potentially a rematch between the two. Their theme that UFC seems to be taking is that they're using negativity at the moment.
This is all
to promote the shit out of the shows.
Negativity sells. It's what's bringing in the money.
All publicity is good publicity.
Oh yeah, you know, and UFC's they've been lapping it up. They're using it. You know, I don't know whether that's what they need now to edge themselves away from other franchises like Bellator and One Championship, because they need something to kind of edge. Because these guys are coming to the fore now, and they are claiming a lot of fighters. They got just as good a scouts and probably paychecks as much as good as the UFC. So they need to do something else to try and you know, put themselves out there. So, you know, we'll see how the fight pans out. But it's just put a bad taste in my mouth before the fight even happened. I wanted it to happen in Vegas, man. I was looking for, not that I was gonna go to Vegas. I wasn't going to Vegas.
Yeah, money like that, yeah.
I like the bright lights and all of that they show in the background, the whole build up to the thing.
It's a bucket list thing on New Year's Eve. I get to go to Vegas just one.
Yeah, man, boy, it's somewhere I'm gonna love to go at some point in my life. But
I've been to Vegas before. Don't get me wrong, but on a New Year's Eve, especially, gosh damn.
Yeah, man. Whoa. The good thing is we got the connecting in the States to make that happen at any point that we need to go over there. You know we got the connect out there. You know what I mean? Mike, Andy, Rob. There's a whole gang of man out there, man. So yeah, man, it's not going to be a problem if and when we decide to make that trip. You feel me?
Okay. I mean, I'm going to come back to Dana White towards the end, but in terms of that fight, you think Jones will take it?
I think he'll take it. What I want to happen and what I think will happen is two different things. You know, I think Jones will win, but I want Gustafsson to win.
Yeah, me too.
I think
if I wasn't done with Jones before, I certainly am now.
I'm totally done with him. You know,
I'm just exhausted by him. Like I just don't care anymore. Because anytime he does anything impressive, I'm gonna be like, all right, how much did you juice up this time? To me,
it makes you think every time, innit? It makes you think. You can't trust his fighting in the octagon anymore because you don't know how pure Jones is in the octagon. You know, you can see all the other fighters, people like Dillashaw, they come into the octagon, and you know these guys are pure. People like DC, Stipe, pure,
Brian,
Ferguson.
pure.
You know, even Derrick Lewis. It could have been easy for Derrick Lewis to say, look, I got back problems. Let me go and get some steroids. Let me go and get some back just so I can fucking last in the octagon and improve my performance in the octagon. You know, there's guys that has reason to use it as an excuse to use PEDs, and they don't. They go into the octagon pure.
Related, I don't want to hear anybody's excuse for why steroids is in their system. Because I know as a former asthma sufferer, I know that steroids, they do put it in some inhalers.
Yeah.
I know that they do. But unless it's for that reason, I don't want to hear anybody. Steroids, for fuck's sake. Not even a PED. Steroids.
Steroids.
I don't want to hear that shit. And for me, and a lot of fighters said it already. I noticed Jimmy Mavara said it already, where he was like, what? So it takes 15 months to get steroids out of your system.
Yeah,
you know, in your blood.
Jimmy Manuel, them guys ain't happy about what's going on here, and he's on Gustafsson's team. He's training with him.
Yeah,
you know, they're on the same team, and you know they know the ins and outs of this thing, and they know he don't take that long.
Yeah.
So clearly he's used it again. But like I said, Jones is got to be giving USADA something for them to be using that story to say it's something from 2 years ago. They know it don't take 2 years. It don't take 15 months to get something out of your system. What kind of thing have you got in your system? You know what I mean? They've seen it all. These guys have seen it all. They're in there with him. You know what I mean? They're in the sport with him. And they know it don't take that long.
And apart from anything, if that's the case, then why fight? Why schedule to fight if you know? Surely the first thing you do before you come back and enter a training camp is get tested immediately to see if you can if it's even possible.
Bro, I think he's been tested before and it was clean. And then they tested him again coming to the fight. And he failed the test. And they're selling us some bullshit.
Things don't add up. It doesn't add up.
I smell bullshit like this is number one.
There's no politics in UFC, apparently. According to Kenny Florian, when he responded to me, there was no politics in UFC.
Oh, there's politics, man. We see it with Woodley all the time. With Tyron Woodley. We see Tyron Woodley all the time. There's politics. There's big politics going on. You know what I mean? We see it with Stipe. Stipe. Yeah, if you remember when they won that the title against Francis Ngannou, he refused Dana to put his belt on him. He refused to take the belt from Dana. I said, give it to my guy over here.
But but he's getting punished for that now. Although I still believe the eventual plan, and I'm hoping it's the plan, is that when DC says, all right, I'm done, and relinquishes the title, that him and what's his name? Velasquez fight.
Velasquez, yeah.
That's the fight.
Yeah, Velasquez needs a couple of comeback fights first
But let's be real. Look, as much as I hope Francis wins, he'll beat Francis.
Let's be Francis. You just keep him on the ground.
It's the worst fight.
It would just batter him. Yeah, it's the worst matchup. But Francis is calling him out. So I don't know what Francis is thinking of, man.
It's the worst fight.
You can't go around calling out like Kane out. Like, come on, man. What are you smoking? You know what I mean? Calling out man like Kane. I know you knocked out Curtis Blades, but Curtis Blades and Kane, it's night and day. It's night and day, man. I'm sorry. You know
no
chance. He's the best to ever do it, man. He's the best to ever do it.
Yeah, you know? And and I think maybe one more, and then I think DC will call it a day, step away, because probably DC will fight this cheater, and then go from there.
I don't think DC will fight him. DC's already said
he might outspite.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. DC already said he's not taking that chance ever again to lose a title fight. He doesn't want to end his legacy losing to someone that cheats, handing him the belt. He's already said I'm not. He said even this Brock Lesnar fight, if I have to pay to get this guy. I'm not fighting any man that's on juice ever again. I'm not doing it. DC already said it. If you can't fucking put that fight together, if the man can't stay clean, I'm not fighting him. Let the next man fight me. I will let Stipe can't fight me.
You can see with Brock's shape, my man's the shape is producing.
He's dropped in it. It's dropped.
That PED is the lax of it is
exactly. You could see you could see it straight away. And Daniel Cormier already said it. I'm not fighting Brock on juice. He needs to get clean before he comes into the octagon. And I will pay for his test, if I have to pay for his test, every time to make sure he comes into the octagon clean. Yeah. Because he's not looking to end his legacy to cheats. They're money fights, but he's not looking. He wants to fight them clean. He will fight them, but he wants to make sure they're clean when they come into the octagon. And I think it's only fair.
Yeah. I too want Gustafsson to win so bad. But I fear that I think Jones will win.
I think Jones will take it. So what are you thinking about the co-main? What are you thinking about the co-main?
Co-main I find interesting, obviously with Cyborg versus Nunes. I just think ultimately, and this is very simple, I just think Cyborg is too big. She's a champion of one, really, in the sense that they don't have another female who's as big as her. So, simply put, Nunes is the best in her division, but there's a reason that she wasn't a 145er in the first place. So, to me, I think it'll be reasonably competitive, maybe for the first couple of rounds, and then I think it'll be a third round KO.
Right. So, this is my angle. I go back to Shevchenko and Joanna. When both of these girls fought, and the gulf between both of them, it was just clear to see. She got ragdolled. Yeah. I mean, Joanna just got dashed at will. Like whenever Shevchenko wanted to do whatever she wanted to do, she just did it. And that's the gulf in strength, the gulf in body size, all of that. And that's because Joanna's coming from strawweight to featherweight. So, in my opinion, I think if you look from bantamweight to Cyborg's weight, I don't think there's. I mean, it's 135, 125, 135. I don't think there's that much, but where the strength is concerned, I think Cyborg is way more powerful.
Way powerful.
Way more powerful.
The reason people are giving Amanda a chance is the same way they gave Holly Holm a chance. Their style will trouble Cyborg.
Yeah. They bring pressure. They bring pressure, constant pressure. Yeah. They're going to keep coming forward. But the thing, and this is, I love when Cyborg says this. Cyborg always say it, and it ends up being true. She says, every girl thinks they've got a plan until they're locked in the octagon with me. She says it. Every girl.
But
Every girl thinks they got a plan until they until they're locked in the octagon with me, and then they will. Soon as they feel her strength, they start panicking. All sorts of things just come into play. Like, oh my god, she's this strong. Like she. I mean, the guys that she spars with. Have you seen them? Have you seen her sparring session? She's ridiculous.
I saw her sparring session with Clarissa Shields. That was very impressive.
Oh my days! I mean, so some of the people that she spars with, man, is madness. You know. So, but I'm good. I've got 5 minutes. I've just got a message from you know who.
All right. In that case, let's keep it real. Let's touch on Dylan Whyte and Chisora. What did you think of that fight?
I always thought Chisora was gonna get smoked. It was a matter of time.
Good fight though.
It was a good fight. They were throwing it down the first few rounds. They were throwing them hands, and you know, Dylan Whyte ended up turning his fighting brain on and said, listen, I have to pace myself now. I have to now pace myself, pick my shots, and eventually I'll drop him. And you know, ultimately that's what ended up happening. And I think to myself, you know, this fight anyway was a means to an end for Dylan Whyte, because he's got his eyes set on AJ, and you know, hopefully it might happen again, because I like the first.
Yeah. And for me, don't know, you're frozen there, gone on mute, by the way. But yeah, for me, I enjoyed the fight. It was round 13. So for those people who don't know what round 13 means in a boxing term, it just basically means when you have a rematch, just the fight is picking up from where they left off. And they pretty much did.
Yeah.
It was a barnstormer. I thought Dylan Whyte, and this is going to sound strange, always had a level of control in a way, but I do think that he took a bit of a chance. Like I do think he took some unnecessary shots where I think he could have made the fight easier than it ended up happening. But I think in the end, I think the right person won. He knocked him out in a spectacular way. That beef is done. On to the next. I would love to see Dylan get a title shot now. It looks like Wilder, who we're going to come on to now, is running from AJ. So I think if Whyte can get a title shot, all the better. Just before we go, because I know you've got a couple of minutes at most.
Yeah.
Basically, so Fury Wilder. It looks as though Wilder doesn't want the rematch, but it also looks like Wilder doesn't want the AJ fight. So do you think he's just running from everyone now?
No, I don't think he's running. I mean, he has to do what's best for him as a competitor. You know, he has to do what's best for him. And like Eddie Hearn already said, this fight with Dylan is going to be mandatory for them. So if whether Wilder happens or not, they're going to end up fighting Dylan Whyte anyways. It's going to be a mandatory fight. So, you know, in the end, they're going to cross paths. It's just whether Dylan Whyte gets to AJ first, or Wilder ends up killing off AJ, and Dylan Whyte then has to go through Wilder to get a shot at all them titles. So we'll see. I mean, in my opinion, I for some reason I don't think that Wilder AJ fight is gonna, because none of them wants to unify that belt. That belt has been begging for years to get unified, and it's not being unified, has it?
That's the thing.
You can't make any
so
chances.
Close to unifying them, but I just think, in my opinion, I think you're kinder to Wilder than I am. I think that fight with Fury scared the life out of him. I don't think he wants any smoke from Fury. I don't think he wants any smoke from AJ. He wants to go about his business, have a couple more fights in Alabama, and then maybe try and cash out on AJ.
Why not? Why not? I mean, sometimes you might be. AJ is a very level-headed boxer. It's not a boxer that goes in charging into fights like a China bull, like a bull in China. And look, he's gonna pick his time. He's gonna take his time. He's gonna figure it out. And I'm giving him the chance. I'm giving him the chance. I think obviously Wilder is a dangerous fight for him. And the guy that he knocked out the last time, I forgot his name. We thought it was potentially a more dangerous fight for AJ than Wilder is, and he got the job done. So, you know, I remember I was doing a show about it, that this guy is actually way more dangerous than what Wilder, the type of boxing that he'll do is dangerous than Wilder's. But, you know, Wilder is a hothead, and he's looking to murk people in that octagon. How Fury got up from... how we got up from that fucking knockout, because that was a knockout. If that happened in UFC, the ref is jumping in front of
and just waving. To be honest,
he's just waving like
boxing,
that.
In most boxing matches, it would be waved
counting to 10. You knock a man out like that, the ref is over.
Yeah, Fury in a way, Fury in a way is lucky he got the ref that he did.
Yeah.
Like you say, he was knocked out. He
was knocked out. That was a knockout. You know what I mean? In any other circumstance, that was a knockout.
Yeah.
How we got up from it, I don't know. Yeah. But I don't know if AJ won some of that just yet.
No. But anyway, let's wrap it up because I don't want to anger anyone. By keeping you longer than you should be here. But let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Black Scorpion Free. Instagram, the same handle, Black Scorpion Free. It's going to be in the descriptions below. I'm sure Chig is going to put it on there. And hopefully on the morning of early hours of that card, hopefully we'll be able to do a review as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Let's do it. And you can find me at Colossal Chig on Twitter. No doubt arguing Kenny Florian, probably. Or you can find me on Instagram, which is Guna_Eagle_I1 on Instagram. Or you could hit subscribe. I mainly do a lot of Arsenal videos, also with my co-host as well.
Yeah, you'll find us on there.
But I also do a lot of these type of videos about MMA, about boxing. I have our own playlist dedicated to that section, and this will be going on that playlist. So do give that playlist a check out, just if this is the first time you check it.
We've got to bring Andy Rhodes and Kenny Ken back on the show, man.
Of course. We've got
to do something to get those guys on
to be honest, if Andy's around watching the card on the 232 card, which he probably will be, wouldn't mind bringing Andy on just to get his take on everything himself.
Yeah, man, that would be nice. That would be awesome.
Because it was really nice having Kenny Ken on, because I know he's a big boxing guy.
Rhodes is a proper UFC. He's a proper UFC MMA guy.
I could tell by what he was talking to us about the other day, and it was boring, Mike. So, but yeah, honestly, give us a check out. Hope you like this video. Crush, destroy, drop, kick the shit out that like button.
Do it
every time you guys do that. Hit that subscribe button, and we out of here, people. So take care.
Salute.